Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Relaxing English Listening. I'm really glad you're here today. Before we begin, I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt like you know a lot of English words? But when it's time to actually speak, everything suddenly disappears. Maybe you've studied vocabulary. Maybe you've watched videos. Maybe you've listened to podcasts. But when someone asks you a simple question, your mind goes blank. You know the words. You understand the grammar. But speaking naturally still feels difficult. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. In fact, this is one of the most common challenges English learners face. The good news is that today, we're going to work on something different. We're not going to memorize long vocabulary lists. We're not going to study complicated grammar rules. Instead, we're going to learn English the way it appears in everyday life. Through situations, through thoughts, through conversations, through real moments. And by the end of this lesson, you'll know how to respond more naturally in everyday situations that happen all the time. One more thing before we start. You do not need to speak quickly. You do not need to sound perfect. You do not need an American accent. You simply need to communicate clearly. One sentence at a time. One thought at a time. One conversation at a time. If that sounds good to you, take a comfortable breath. Relax your shoulders. And let's begin. Imagine you are waking up on a Monday morning. The room is quiet. A little sunlight is coming through the curtains. Your alarm just went off. You look at the clock. For a moment, you don't want to get out of bed. Maybe you've felt this before. Most people have. Now here's something interesting. What is the first thought that appears in your mind? Many English learners think they need complicated English. But native speakers often think in very simple phrases. For example, I'm tired. That's perfectly fine. But here's a more natural thought. I'm still waking up. Listen carefully. I'm still waking up. Repeat after me, slowly. I'm still waking up. Again. I'm still waking up. Very good. Now say it one more time. But this time, imagine you're actually sitting on the edge of your bed, trying to wake up. I'm still waking up. Excellent. Notice how natural that sounds. Native speakers say this all the time. Instead of immediately describing a problem, they often describe a process. They're waking up. They're getting ready. They're figuring things out. Let's make it even more natural. I'm still waking up. But I'll be fine in a few minutes. Listen carefully. I'm still waking up. But I'll be fine in a few minutes. Now repeat after me. I'm still waking up. But I'll be fine in a few minutes. Excellent. This is something you'll hear every day. And notice something important. The sentence isn't difficult. But it sounds real. That's what we're aiming for. Real English. Now imagine you finally get out of bed. You walk into the kitchen. The floor feels cool beneath your feet. The house is still quiet. You start making coffee. The smell slowly fills the room. And suddenly, life feels a little easier. Many native speakers have a thought like this. I could use some coffee. Listen carefully. I could use some coffee. Repeat after me. I could use some coffee. Again. I could use some coffee. Excellent. Now let's make it more emotional. I could really use some coffee right now. Listen carefully. I could really use some coffee right now. Repeat after me. I could really use some coffee right now. Very good. Most learners sound too formal here. They often say, I want coffee. That's correct. But native speakers often prefer, I could use some coffee. It sounds softer, more conversational, more natural. Let's practice it again. I could use some coffee. Excellent. Now imagine you're standing in your kitchen, holding a warm cup of coffee. You take the first sip, and instantly, you think, that's better. Listen carefully. That's better. Repeat after me. That's better. Again. That's better. Very nice. This next phrase is extremely common. People say it after solving a small problem, after drinking coffee, after sitting down, after finding their keys, after taking a break. That's better. Simple. Natural. Useful. Now imagine you're getting ready to leave the house. You're putting on your shoes, checking your phone, making sure you didn't forget anything. Then suddenly, you look at the time, and your eyes get a little wider. You're running late. Listen carefully. I'm running late. Repeat after me. I'm running late. Again. I'm running late. Excellent. Native speakers say this all the time. Not, I will arrive later than expected. Nobody talks like that. Instead, I'm running late. Let's practice. I'm running late. Excellent. Now imagine you're walking quickly toward the bus stop. Cars are passing by. People are heading to work. Someone nearby is walking their dog. The city is waking up. You arrive at the bus stop just in time. A stranger, standing nearby, looks at the sky and says, "Looks like it's going to be a nice day." Listen carefully. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. Repeat after me. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. Again. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. Excellent. Notice how native speakers shorten things. They don't always say, "It looks like." Very often, they simply say, "Looks like." That's something you'll hear every day. Now imagine the stranger smiles at you. You could simply say, "Yes." But here's a more natural response. "Yeah. It looks that way." Listen carefully. "Yeah. It looks that way." Repeat after me. "Yeah. It looks that way." Excellent. A small response, but a natural one. This is how real conversations begin. Not with perfect grammar. With simple human interaction. Now let's try a quick, mini conversation. Listen carefully. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. Yeah. It looks that way. Got any plans today? Not really. Just work. Same here. Now, repeat after me. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. Yeah. It looks that way. Got any plans today? Not really. Just work. Same here. Excellent. Can you feel how easy that conversation is? No difficult vocabulary. No complicated grammar. Just useful English. The kind people use every single day. Now, let's make it slightly more advanced. Imagine, the stranger asks. Busy day ahead. Listen carefully. Busy day ahead. Repeat after me. Busy day ahead. Excellent. Notice how native speakers shorten questions. The full version would be, "Do you have a busy day ahead?" But in real life, people often shorten it. Busy day ahead. Now, let's answer naturally. Yeah. I've got a lot on my plate today. Listen carefully. I've got a lot on my plate today. Repeat after me. I've got a lot on my plate today. Again. I've got a lot on my plate today. Excellent. Native speakers say this constantly. A lot on my plate. It doesn't mean food. It means responsibilities. Tasks. Things you need to do. Now, say it again naturally. I've got a lot on my plate today. Very good. You're already sounding more natural. And here's something important. You probably noticed that none of these phrases are difficult. The challenge isn't complexity. The challenge is familiarity. The more often you hear these patterns, the more naturally your brain starts using them. Every small sentence you repeat is training your brain to think in English. Not translate. Think. And that's a huge difference. Before we continue, let's do something together. Think about your own morning. Not someone else's morning. Yours. Did you wake up tired? Did you drink coffee? Did you rush out the door? Did you have a quiet morning? Now it's your turn. Create one simple English sentence about your morning. Just one. Say it quietly. Good. Now add one more detail. Excellent. That's exactly how fluency grows. Not through memorizing hundreds of words, through building real thoughts. One sentence at a time. And something interesting is about to happen. So far, you've been thinking in English by yourself. But in the next situation, someone unexpectedly starts talking to you. A short conversation. A simple interaction. The kind that happens every day. And you'll discover that these small conversations are often where real confidence begins. A few minutes later, the bus arrives. The doors open. People step inside, one by one. Some look sleepy. Some are checking their phones. Others are already focused on the day ahead. You find a seat near the window. The city slowly moves past outside. Coffee shops are opening. Cyclists are riding to work. The streets are becoming busier with every passing minute. For a moment, everything feels routine, predictable, normal. Then something small happens. Someone sits down beside you. Maybe it's another commuter. Maybe it's a student. Maybe it's someone heading to work just like you. At first, neither of you says anything. Then the person glances out the window and smiles. Looks busier than usual today. Listen carefully. Looks busier than usual today. Repeat after me. Looks busier than usual today. Again. Looks busier than usual today. Excellent. Notice something interesting. Native speakers often begin conversations with observations. Not questions. Not introductions. Observations. The weather. Traffic. A long line. A crowded train. A delayed flight. These simple observations create opportunities for conversation. Now imagine it's your turn to respond. You could simply say, yes. But here's a more natural response. Yeah. It definitely does. Listen carefully. Yeah. It definitely does. Repeat after me. Yeah. It definitely does. Again. Yeah. It definitely does. Excellent. This phrase is extremely common. It definitely does. It definitely is. It definitely was. Native speakers use these responses constantly. Now, let's continue. The other person laughs. I guess everyone's running late. Listen carefully. Everyone's running late. Repeat after me. Everyone's running late. Again. Everyone's running late. Excellent. There's that phrase again. Running late. A phrase you'll hear every day. Now imagine you answer. Yeah. Pretty much. Listen carefully. Pretty much. Repeat after me. Pretty much. Again. Pretty much. Excellent. This is one of those small native phrases that instantly makes English sound more natural. Instead of saying, yes, that is correct, Native speakers often say, pretty much. Let's practice. Are you busy today? Pretty much. Did you finish everything? Pretty much. Is it going to rain? Pretty much. Very good. Notice how conversational that feels. Now the conversation continues naturally. Without planning, without pressure. The stranger asks, heading to work. Listen carefully. Heading to work. Repeat after me. Heading to work. Again. Heading to work. Excellent. Notice how native speakers shorten questions. The full version would be, are you heading to work? But in real life, people often shorten it. Heading to work. Now let's answer naturally. Yeah. Just another day. Listen carefully. Just another day. Repeat after me. Just another day. Again. Just another day. Excellent. Native speakers use this expression all the time. Just another day. Nothing special. Nothing dramatic. Just life. Now let's make it slightly more interesting. Yeah. Just another day. Hopefully a good one. Listen carefully. Hopefully a good one. Repeat after me. Hopefully a good one. Excellent. Can you feel how one small sentence suddenly sounds warmer? More human. That's something native speakers do naturally. They often add tiny emotional details. Now imagine the bus stops at a traffic light. The person beside you checks their phone and sighs. Then they say, well, that's not great. Listen carefully. That's not great. Repeat after me. That's not great. Again. That's not great. Excellent. This next phrase is extremely common. Native speakers often use soft reactions. Instead of, that's terrible, they say, that's not great. Instead of, that's awful, they say, that's not ideal. These softer reactions sound very natural. Now imagine you're curious. You ask, everything okay? Listen carefully. Everything okay? Repeat after me. Everything okay? Again. Everything okay? Excellent. Notice how short this question is. Native speakers rarely say, is everything okay? Very often, they simply say, everything okay? Let's continue. The person smiles slightly. Yeah. Kind of. My meeting got moved. Listen carefully. My meeting got moved. Repeat after me. My meeting got moved. Again. My meeting got moved. Excellent. Now focus on another phrase. Kind of. Native speakers use this constantly. Kind of tired. Kind of busy. Kind of nervous. Kind of excited. Let's practice together. Kind of tired. Kind of nervous. Kind of busy. Excellent. These small phrases appear everywhere. And every time you learn one, your English becomes more flexible, more natural, more conversational. Now imagine the conversation becomes a little more personal. The stranger asks, so what do you do? Listen carefully. What do you do? Repeat after me. What do you do? Again? What do you do? Excellent. This question is everywhere. At networking events, coffee shops, flights, waiting rooms, almost anywhere. Now, imagine your answer. Don't worry about your actual job. Focus on the pattern. I work in marketing. I work in education. I work in healthcare. I work in technology. Listen carefully. I work in. Repeat after me. I work in. Again. I work in. Excellent. Simple. Useful. Natural. Now imagine. The stranger responds. Oh. That's interesting. Listen carefully. That's interesting. Repeat after me. That's interesting. Again. That's interesting. Excellent. This may seem simple, but native speakers use this phrase constantly, not because something is truly fascinating, but because it's a polite way to keep the conversation going. That's interesting. Tell me more. How did you get into that? What do you enjoy about it? These are conversation builders. Now imagine. The stranger asks. How long have you been doing that? Listen carefully. How long have you been doing that? Repeat after me. How long have you been doing that? Excellent. This is one of the most useful follow-up questions in English. And follow-up questions are what keep conversations alive. Many learners answer questions, but native speakers continue conversations. That's an important difference. Now let's build a mini conversation together. Listen carefully. Looks busier than usual today. Yeah. It definitely does. I guess everyone's running late. Yeah. Pretty much. Heading to work. Yeah. Just another day. Hopefully a good one. Everything okay? Yeah. Kind of. My meeting got moved. Oh. That's not great. No. But it happens. Now repeat it with me. Feel the rhythm. Feel how natural it sounds. Looks busier than usual today. Yeah. It definitely does. I guess everyone's running late. Yeah. Pretty much. Heading to work. Yeah. Just another day. Hopefully, a good one. Everything okay? Yeah. Kind of. My meeting got moved. Oh. That's not great. No. But it happens. Excellent. That's real English. The kind of conversation that happens every day between complete strangers. Now here's something interesting. Many learners believe fluency means speaking for a long time. But real conversations often consist of very short exchanges. 3 words. 5 words. 7 words. The secret isn't speaking longer. The secret is responding naturally. And you're already practicing that right now. Every small sentence you repeat is training your brain to think in English. Not translate. Respond. That's where confidence begins. Not when you know every word. When you trust yourself to participate. Now imagine the bus finally reaches your stop. You stand up. Pick up your bag. The stranger smiles. Well. Have a good day. Listen carefully. Have a good day. Repeat after me. Have a good day. Again. Have a good day. Excellent. How would you respond? A very natural response is, you too. Listen carefully. You too. Repeat after me. You too. Again. You too. Excellent. Short. Simple. Perfectly natural. As you step off the bus and walk toward work, something begins to feel different. You just had a conversation. A real conversation. Nothing dramatic. Nothing complicated. But real. And that's important. Because confidence isn't built through giant moments. It's built through small, successful interactions. One after another. And very soon, you're about to enter a situation that many English learners find much more challenging. Not talking to strangers. Talking to someone new for the first time. Introducing yourself. Keeping a conversation going. Finding something interesting to say. And you'll discover that native speakers often make this much easier than learners expect. Let's see how that happens. A short time later, you arrive at work. Or maybe it's a community event. Maybe it's a weekend workshop. Perhaps it's a language exchange group, a photography class, or a local gathering in your neighborhood. The specific place doesn't matter. What matters is what happens next. You walk into a room where you don't know many people. Some people are chatting. Others are looking at their phones. A few are standing alone. Just like you. The atmosphere feels comfortable. But there's also a little uncertainty. And then, you notice something. Most people aren't having perfect conversations. They're simply trying to connect. That's an important realization. Many English learners imagine that native speakers always know exactly what to say. They don't. They simply keep the conversation moving. And today, you're going to learn how to do exactly that. Imagine you're standing near a table with coffee and snacks. Someone nearby smiles and says, "Hi. I don't think we've met before." Listen carefully. I don't think we've met before. Repeat after me. I don't think we've met before. Again. I don't think we've met before. Excellent. This is an extremely common way to start a conversation. Notice how soft it sounds. Not. Who are you? Not. Introduce yourself. Instead, I don't think we've met before. Friendly. Natural. Easy. Now imagine it's your turn. You smile and say, "I don't think so either." Listen carefully. I don't think so either. Repeat after me. I don't think so either. Again. I don't think so either. Excellent. Then you continue. I'm Alex. Or whatever your name is. Simple. Natural. Real. The other person smiles. Nice to meet you. Listen carefully. Nice to meet you. Repeat after me. Nice to meet you. Again. Nice to meet you. Excellent. Now here's something interesting. Many learners stop here, but native speakers rarely stop after introductions. They immediately continue. The other person asks, "So, what brings you here?" Listen carefully. What brings you here? Repeat after me. What brings you here? Again. What brings you here? Excellent. This next phrase is extremely common. At events, classes, conferences, networking situations. What brings you here? Meaning, why did you come? Now let's answer naturally. Basic. I'm here to learn. Natural. I wanted to try something new. Advanced. I wanted to try something new and meet interesting people. Listen carefully. I wanted to try something new and meet interesting people. Repeat after me. I wanted to try something new and meet interesting people. Excellent. Can you hear how natural that sounds? The sentence isn't complicated, but it feels personal. And personal conversations are easier to remember. Now imagine the other person responds. That's exactly why I'm here. Listen carefully. That's exactly why I'm here. Repeat after me. That's exactly why I'm here. Again. That's exactly why I'm here. Excellent. Immediately. You have something in common. And conversations become easier when people discover common ground. This is one of the biggest secrets of communication. People connect through similarities, not perfection. Now imagine a brief pause. Many learners become nervous during pauses. They think they need to fill every second with words, but native speakers are comfortable with small pauses. Then the other person asks, "So, what do you do?" You've heard this question before. But now you're in a new environment. A new conversation. A new opportunity. You answer. The other person listens carefully. Then they say, "That's interesting." Listen carefully. "That's interesting." Repeat after me. "That's interesting." Again. "That's interesting." Excellent. But here's where many conversations become more interesting. Instead of stopping there, the person asks a follow-up question. How did you get into that? Listen carefully. How did you get into that? Repeat after me. How did you get into that? Again. How did you get into that? Excellent. This phrase is everywhere. How did you get into photography? How did you get into teaching? How did you get into technology? Native speakers love origin stories. They love hearing how people started doing something. Now let's answer naturally. Honestly, I sort of fell into it. Listen carefully. I sort of fell into it. Repeat after me. I sort of fell into it. Again. I sort of fell into it. Excellent. This is a very natural phrase. Sort of. Fell into it. Meaning it happened naturally. Without a big plan. Many careers begin this way. Many hobbies begin this way. Let's practice. I sort of fell into it. Excellent. Now imagine the other person laughs. That's usually how it happens. Listen carefully. That's usually how it happens. Repeat after me. That's usually how it happens. Again. That's usually how it happens. Excellent. Notice something. The conversation feels easy. Not because anyone is using advanced vocabulary. Because both people are curious. Curiosity keeps conversations alive. And here's a small breakthrough many learners discover. You don't need better English to have better conversations. You often need better questions. Let's continue. The other person asks, what do you enjoy most about it? Listen carefully. What do you enjoy most about it? Repeat after me. What do you enjoy most about it? Again. What do you enjoy most about it? Excellent. This question invites emotion. And emotion creates connection. Maybe you answer, I like meeting different people. Or, I enjoy solving problems. Or, I like the variety. Listen carefully. I like the variety. Repeat after me. I like the variety. Again. I like the variety. Excellent. Simple. Personal. Natural. Now imagine someone else joins the conversation. The social energy changes slightly. The group becomes 3 people instead of 2. This happens all the time in real life. A third person arrives and says, mind if I join you? Listen carefully. Mind if I join you? Repeat after me. Mind if I join you? Again. Mind if I join you? Excellent. A very common response is, not at all. Listen carefully. Not at all. Repeat after me. Not at all. Again. Not at all. Excellent. The conversation grows. The energy changes. More voices. More perspectives. More opportunities. One person mentions traveling. Another mentions learning languages. Suddenly someone says, wait. You've been learning English. Listen carefully. You've been learning English. Repeat after me. You've been learning English. Again. You've been learning English. Excellent. Now imagine your response. Yeah. For a while now. Listen carefully. For a while now. Repeat after me. For a while now. Again. For a while now. Excellent. The phrase for a while now is extremely common. Let's practice. I've lived here for a while now. I've been working there for a while now. I've been learning English for a while now. Excellent. The conversation continues. Then, something interesting happens. One person says, "Your English is really good." Many learners dream about hearing this. And when it happens, they often don't know how to respond. A natural response is, "Thanks. I'm still working on it." Listen carefully. I'm still working on it. Repeat after me. I'm still working on it. Again. I'm still working on it. Excellent. Native speakers love this response. It sounds humble, friendly, natural. Now let's build a mini conversation together. Listen carefully. Hi. I don't think we've met before. I don't think so either. I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. What brings you here? I wanted to try something new and meet interesting people. That's exactly why I'm here. So, what do you do? I work in education. That's interesting. How did you get into that? Honestly, I sort of fell into it. Now repeat it with me. Feel the rhythm. Imagine the room. Imagine the people. Imagine yourself speaking naturally. Hi. I don't think we've met before. I don't think so either. I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. What brings you here? I wanted to try something new and meet interesting people. That's exactly why I'm here. So what do you do? I work in education. That's interesting. How did you get into that? Honestly, I sort of fell into it. Excellent. That sounds like a real conversation. Because it is. And every time you practice conversations like this, something changes. You stop seeing English as a school subject. You start seeing it as a tool for connecting with people. Every small sentence you repeat is training your brain to think in English. Every question you answer is building confidence. Every conversation is helping you trust yourself a little more. And trust matters. Because the next stage of communication goes even deeper. After introductions are finished, people start talking about their lives, their routines, their goals, their hobbies, the things that matter to them, and that's where conversations often become memorable. Let's step into that world next. A little later, the event begins to wind down. People start gathering their things. Some exchange phone numbers. Others promise to stay in touch. A few small groups continue talking near the exit. You say goodbye to the people you've met and step outside. The afternoon air feels comfortable. Not too warm. Not too cold. Just right. As you walk down the sidewalk, something interesting happens. You realize that meeting new people wasn't nearly as difficult as you expected. The conversations weren't perfect. Nobody gave perfect answers. Nobody spoke like a textbook. People simply shared pieces of their lives. And that's exactly what we're going to explore now. Because after introductions are over, conversations usually move somewhere deeper. People begin talking about their daily lives, their routines, their interests, their goals, the things that make them who they are. And, surprisingly, this is where many English learners start feeling nervous. Not because the English is difficult, because the conversation becomes personal. But don't worry. Native speakers usually talk about their lives in very simple ways. Let's see how that works. Imagine you're walking through a nearby park with someone you met earlier. The path curves gently through the trees. People are jogging. Dogs are chasing tennis balls. Children are laughing near a playground. The atmosphere feels relaxed, comfortable, easy. The person beside you smiles and asks, "So, What have you been up to lately? Listen carefully. What have you been up to lately? Repeat after me. What have you been up to lately? Again. What have you been up to lately? Excellent. This next phrase is extremely common. Native speakers use it all the time. Not only with close friends, with coworkers, neighbors, new acquaintances, almost anyone. What have you been up to lately? Now let's answer naturally. Basic. I've been busy. Natural. I've been pretty busy lately. Advanced. I've been pretty busy lately. But in a good way. Listen carefully. I've been pretty busy lately. But in a good way. Repeat after me. I've been pretty busy lately. But in a good way. Excellent. Notice something important. Native speakers often add emotional context. Not just facts. Not just information. Feelings. A simple sentence suddenly becomes more human. Now imagine. The person nods. Yeah. I know what you mean. Listen carefully. I know what you mean. Repeat after me. I know what you mean. Again. I know what you mean. Excellent. This phrase creates connection. It's one of the most useful social phrases in English. Let's practice. I know what you mean. Very good. Now, imagine the conversation continues. The person asks, what do you usually do when you're not working? Listen carefully. What do you usually do when you're not working? Repeat after me. What do you usually do when you're not working? Excellent. This is a question about hobbies, interests, free time, things people enjoy. Many learners answer too briefly. For example, I read, I cook, I exercise. Those answers are fine. But here's a more natural response. I like going for long walks when I have time. Listen carefully. I like going for long walks when I have time. Repeat after me. I like going for long walks when I have time. Excellent. Now let's make it even more conversational. I like going for long walks. It helps me clear my head. Listen carefully. It helps me clear my head. Repeat after me. It helps me clear my head. Again. It helps me clear my head. Excellent. Native speakers say this all the time. Clear my head. Meaning, relax mentally. Reduce stress. Think more clearly. Let's practice. I needed to clear my head. Repeat. I needed to clear my head. Excellent. Now imagine the person smiles. That actually sounds really nice. Listen carefully. That actually sounds really nice. Repeat after me. That actually sounds really nice. Excellent. Notice the word actually. Native speakers use actually constantly. Actually. Honestly. Basically. Pretty much. These small words make conversations sound more natural. Now imagine the path through the park becomes quieter. You walk past a small pond. A few ducks drift across the water. The conversation slows down naturally. Then the other person asks, have you been working on anything interesting lately? Listen carefully. Have you been working on anything interesting lately? Repeat after me. Have you been working on anything interesting lately? Excellent. Now let's answer naturally. Actually. Yes. I've been trying to improve my English. Listen carefully. I've been trying to improve my English. Repeat after me. I've been trying to improve my English. Again. I've been trying to improve my English. Excellent. Simple. Honest. Natural. Now imagine the other person responds. That's awesome. Listen carefully. That's awesome. Repeat after me. That's awesome. Again. That's awesome. Excellent. This phrase appears everywhere. Native speakers use it constantly. Not because something is extraordinary, because it's positive, encouraging, friendly. Now imagine. They continue. How's that going? Listen carefully. How's that going? Repeat after me. How's that going? Again. How's that going? Excellent. A very natural response might be, it's going pretty well. Listen carefully. It's going pretty well. Repeat after me. It's going pretty well. Excellent. Or perhaps, it's challenging sometimes, but I'm making progress. Listen carefully. I'm making progress. Repeat after me. I'm making progress. Again. I'm making progress. Excellent. This phrase is important because learners often focus on mistakes. Native speakers focus on progress. Let's practice. I'm making progress. Very good. Now imagine the conversation shifts again. The path leaves the pond behind. The trees become denser. The sounds of the city fade away. The environment changes. And with it, the energy of the conversation changes too. The other person asks, what's something you've always wanted to do? Listen carefully. What's something you've always wanted to do? Repeat after me. What's something you've always wanted to do? Excellent. Now the conversation becomes more personal, more emotional, more memorable. Maybe your answer is, I've always wanted to travel more. Listen carefully. I've always wanted to travel more. Repeat after me. I've always wanted to travel more. Excellent. Or perhaps, I've always wanted to learn another language fluently. Listen carefully. I've always wanted to learn another language fluently. Repeat after me. I've always wanted to learn another language fluently. Excellent. Can you feel the difference? We're no longer talking about schedules, or jobs, or weather. We're talking about dreams, goals, things that matter. And that's where conversations often become meaningful. Now let's build a mini conversation together. Listen carefully. What have you been up to lately? I've been pretty busy lately. But in a good way. Yeah. I know what you mean. What do you usually do when you're not working? I like going for long walks when I have time. Why? It helps me clear my head. That actually sounds really nice. Have you been working on anything interesting lately? Actually, yes. I've been trying to improve my English. How's that going? It's challenging sometimes, but I'm making progress. Now repeat it with me. Feel the rhythm. Imagine the park. Imagine the conversation unfolding naturally. What have you been up to lately? I've been pretty busy lately. But in a good way. Yeah. I know what you mean. What do you usually do when you're not working? I like going for long walks when I have time. Why? It helps me clear my head. That actually sounds really nice. Have you been working on anything interesting lately? Actually, yes. I've been trying to improve my English. How's that going? It's challenging sometimes, but I'm making progress. Excellent. That's the kind of conversation people remember. Not because the vocabulary is difficult, because it's real, because it's personal, because it creates connection. Every small sentence you repeat is training your brain to think in English. Every answer you create is helping you build confidence. Every conversation is moving you one step closer to speaking naturally. And here's something fascinating. The deeper conversations become, the more emotions start appearing. People begin talking about stress, excitement, gratitude, disappointment, relief, happiness. The feelings that shape everyday life. And learning how to express those feelings naturally can completely change the way you connect with people in English. That's exactly where we're heading next. The afternoon slowly fades into evening. The walk through the park has been relaxing. The conversation has flowed naturally. You've talked about work, hobbies, goals, things you've been doing lately. But now, something begins to change. The sky is turning orange. The sunlight is softer. People are heading home. The pace of the day slows down. And as often happens in real life, conversations become a little more personal, a little more honest, a little more emotional. This is where many meaningful conversations begin. Not with facts, not with schedules, with feelings. And surprisingly, most native speakers don't express emotions with complicated language. They usually keep things simple, natural, human. Let's explore that together. Imagine you and the person you've been talking with decide to stop at a small cafe. The place is quiet. Soft music plays in the background. A few people sit by the windows reading books. Others are talking quietly over coffee. You find a table near the corner. The atmosphere feels calm, comfortable, the kind of place where people naturally open up. For a few moments, neither of you says much. Then the other person takes a sip of coffee and asks, "So, how have you been feeling lately?" Listen carefully. How have you been feeling lately? Repeat after me. How have you been feeling lately? Again. How have you been feeling lately? Excellent. Notice how different this question feels. Earlier, people asked what you do, what you've been up to, what your hobbies are. Now they're asking about how you feel. That's a deeper question. And many English learners don't know how to answer it naturally. Let's change that. A basic answer might be, "Good." But native speakers often give a little more detail. For example, "I've been feeling pretty good lately." Listen carefully. "I've been feeling pretty good lately." Repeat after me. "I've been feeling pretty good lately." Again. "I've been feeling pretty good lately." Excellent. Simple. Natural. Honest. Now, let's make it slightly more advanced. "I've been feeling pretty good lately. Things are finally settling down." Listen carefully. Things are finally settling down. Repeat after me. Things are finally settling down. Again. Things are finally settling down. Excellent. This phrase is extremely useful. Settling down. Meaning things are becoming calmer, more stable, less stressful. Let's practice. Things are settling down. Repeat. Things are settling down. Excellent. Now imagine a different situation. Maybe life has been a little stressful recently. Perhaps you've been busy. Maybe you've had responsibilities, deadlines, challenges. How would a native speaker express that? Not usually by saying, "My life is extremely stressful." Instead, they might say, "I've had a lot on my mind lately." Listen carefully. "I've had a lot on my mind lately." Repeat after me. "I've had a lot on my mind lately." Again. "I've had a lot on my mind lately." Excellent. This phrase appears everywhere in everyday English. A lot on my mind. Meaning, you're thinking about many things. Responsibilities, decisions, concerns, plans. Let's practice together. "I've had a lot on my mind lately." Excellent. Now imagine the other person nods. They understand immediately. They say, "Yeah, I know what you mean." Listen carefully. "I know what you mean." Repeat after me. I know what you mean. Again. I know what you mean. Excellent. That's one of the most powerful phrases in conversation. Because it creates connection. People want to feel understood. And simple phrases like this help create that feeling. Now imagine the other person continues. Anything in particular? Listen carefully. Anything in particular? Repeat after me. Anything in particular? Again. Anything in particular? Excellent. This phrase means anything specific, anything important, anything you want to talk about. A very natural response might be nothing serious. Just life. I guess. Listen carefully. Just life. I guess. Repeat after me. Just life. I guess. Again. Just life. I guess. Excellent. Can you hear how natural that sounds? Native speakers often use phrases like just life, just work, just one of those days. These expressions feel relaxed and authentic. Now imagine the conversation becomes a little lighter. The other person smiles and says, well, what's been making you happy lately? Listen carefully. What's been making you happy lately? Repeat after me. What's been making you happy lately? Again. What's been making you happy lately? Excellent. This is a beautiful question. And it's surprisingly common among friends. Because people enjoy talking about positive things. Now let's answer naturally. Honestly. I've been enjoying the little things lately. Listen carefully. The little things. Repeat after me. The little things. Again. The little things. Excellent. Native speakers love this phrase. The little things. Small moments. Simple pleasures. Daily experiences. Maybe it's your morning coffee. A quiet walk. A good conversation. A beautiful sunset. Let's repeat the full sentence. Honestly. I've been enjoying the little things lately. Excellent. Now imagine. The other person asks. Like what? Listen carefully. Like what? Repeat after me. Like what? Again. Like what? Excellent. Now you might answer. A good cup of coffee. Spending time with friends. Learning something new. Getting outside more often. Simple things. But meaningful things. Now let's continue. The other person smiles and says, that's important. Listen carefully. That's important. Repeat after me. That's important. Again. That's important. Excellent. Now imagine the conversation shifts again. The sky outside is becoming darker. Lights appear in nearby buildings. The cafe feels warmer than before. The conversation becomes reflective. The other person asks, what's something you're grateful for right now? Listen carefully. What's something you're grateful for right now? Repeat after me. What's something you're grateful for right now? Excellent. This question encourages reflection. And gratitude is something native speakers often discuss. A natural response could be, honestly, I'm grateful for the people in my life. Listen carefully. I'm grateful for the people in my life. Repeat after me. I'm grateful for the people in my life. Again. I'm grateful for the people in my life. Excellent. Or perhaps, I'm grateful that things are moving in the right direction. Listen carefully. Things are moving in the right direction. Repeat after me. Things are moving in the right direction. Excellent. This is a very natural phrase. Moving in the right direction. Not perfect. Not finished. But improving. Let's practice. Things are moving in the right direction. Excellent. Now imagine the other person nods thoughtfully, then says, I like that. Listen carefully. I like that. Repeat after me. I like that. Again. I like that. Excellent. Simple. But genuine. Now, let's build a complete conversation together. Listen carefully. How have you been feeling lately? I've been feeling pretty good lately. That's good to hear. Things are finally settling down. Nice. I've had a lot on my mind lately. Though. Yeah. I know what you mean. Anything in particular? Nothing serious. Just life. I guess. Fair enough. What's been making you happy lately? Honestly, I've been enjoying the little things lately. Like what? Good conversations. Coffee. Learning new things. That's important. Now repeat it with me. Feel the pace. Feel the emotions. Imagine you're sitting in that quiet cafe. How have you been feeling lately? I've been feeling pretty good lately. That's good to hear. Things are finally settling down. Nice. I've had a lot on my mind lately. Though. Yeah. I know what you mean. Anything in particular? Nothing serious. Just life. I guess. Fair enough. What's been making you happy lately? Honestly, I've been enjoying the little things lately. Like what? Good conversations. Coffee. Learning new things. That's important. Excellent. Notice how different this conversation feels from small talk. This is real connection. This is where people start remembering conversations. Not because of advanced vocabulary. Because of honesty. Because of emotion. Because of shared experiences. Every small sentence you repeat is training your brain to express feelings naturally in English. Not translate them. Express them. And that's a huge step toward fluency. Because language isn't only about information. It's about people. It's about connection. It's about understanding and being understood. And as the evening continues, another natural part of life begins to appear. People start making plans. Planning weekends. Planning activities. Planning future meetings. And those simple plans create some of the most useful English conversations you'll ever have. Let's step into that situation together next. The evening continues peacefully. The conversation in the cafe has been warm, comfortable, honest. You've talked about life, stress, gratitude, the little things that make people happy. Outside, the sky has turned dark. Streetlights glow along the sidewalks. The city feels calmer now. The busy energy of the day has disappeared. People are heading home. Restaurants are filling up. Friends are meeting after work. Families are gathering for dinner. And naturally, conversations begin shifting towards something else. Plans. Because no matter where you live, people are always making plans. Plans for tomorrow. Plans for the weekend. Plans for next month. And learning how native speakers make plans can dramatically improve your conversational English. Imagine you're finishing your coffee. The person across from you checks their phone. Then they smile and say, So, do you have any plans this weekend? Listen carefully. Do you have any plans this weekend? Repeat after me. Do you have any plans this weekend? Again. Do you have any plans this weekend? Excellent. This question appears everywhere. At work. At school. With friends. With neighbors. It's one of the most common conversation starters in English. Now let's answer naturally. Basic. Not really. Natural. Not really. I'm just taking it easy. Listen carefully. I'm just taking it easy. Repeat after me. I'm just taking it easy. Again. I'm just taking it easy. Excellent. Native speakers use this phrase constantly. Taking it easy, meaning relaxing, resting, not doing anything too stressful. Let's practice. I'm taking it easy this weekend. Repeat. I'm taking it easy this weekend. Excellent. Now imagine the other person laughs. I wish I could do that. Listen carefully. I wish I could do that. Repeat after me. I wish I could do that. Again. I wish I could do that. Excellent. This phrase is extremely common. People use it when they hear about someone else's relaxing plans, or vacation, or free time. It's friendly, natural, and very useful. Now imagine the person continues. A few friends and I are going hiking on Saturday. Listen carefully. A few friends and I are going hiking on Saturday. Repeat after me. A few friends and I are going hiking on Saturday. Excellent. Then they ask, do you want to come? Listen carefully. Do you want to come? Repeat after me. Do you want to come? Again. Do you want to come? Excellent. Now you're faced with an invitation. One of the most common social situations in English. How do native speakers respond? A very natural response is, that sounds fun. Listen carefully. That sounds fun. Repeat after me. That sounds fun. Again. That sounds fun. Excellent. Or perhaps, that sounds great. Listen carefully. That sounds great. Repeat after me. That sounds great. Excellent. Now let's make it more conversational. That sounds great. I'd love to join. Listen carefully. I'd love to join. Repeat after me. I'd love to join. Again. I'd love to join. Excellent. This phrase sounds warm and enthusiastic. Native speakers use it frequently. Now imagine a different situation. Maybe you're interested, but you're not completely sure. Perhaps you already have plans. Perhaps you need to check your schedule. A native speaker might say, let me check and get back to you. Listen carefully. Let me check and get back to you. Repeat after me. Let me check and get back to you. Again. Let me check and get back to you. Excellent. This is an extremely useful phrase. Get back to you. Meaning, I'll tell you later. I'll give you an answer later. Let's practice. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Repeat. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Excellent. Now imagine another scenario. You already have plans. Unfortunately, you can't go. Many learners worry about sounding rude. But native speakers often decline invitations very gently. For example, I'd love to, but I already have plans. Listen carefully. I'd love to, but I already have plans. Repeat after me. I'd love to, but I already have plans. Again. I'd love to, but I already have plans. Excellent. This is one of the most useful social phrases in English. Notice that the sentence starts positively. I'd love to. Then comes the reason. This sounds much friendlier than simply saying, no. Now imagine the other person smiles. No worries. Listen carefully. No worries. Repeat after me. No worries. Again. No worries. Excellent. We've heard this phrase before. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. Real English repeats useful patterns. The same phrases appear again and again in different situations. That's how fluency develops. Not through thousands of random expressions, through repeated exposure to useful ones. Now imagine the conversation continues. The person asks, "So, what do you usually do on weekends?" Listen carefully. What do you usually do on weekends? Repeat after me. What do you usually do on weekends? Excellent. Now answer naturally. Maybe. I usually spend time with friends. I usually catch up on sleep. I usually go for walks. I usually work on personal projects. Listen carefully. I usually work on personal projects. Repeat after me. I usually work on personal projects. Excellent. Now, imagine the other person says, "That reminds me." Listen carefully. That reminds me. Repeat after me. That reminds me. Again. That reminds me. Excellent. This phrase is a conversation bridge. It connects one topic to another. Native speakers use it constantly. Let's practice. That reminds me. Excellent. The person continues. Something came up earlier today. Listen carefully. Something came up. Repeat after me. Something came up. Again. Something came up. Excellent. This phrase is incredibly common. Something came up means an unexpected situation happened. A problem. A responsibility. A change of plans. Let's practice. Sorry. Something came up. Repeat. Sorry. Something came up. Excellent. Now, imagine the person explains, "I was supposed to meet a friend, but something came up." Listen carefully. I was supposed to meet a friend. Repeat after me. I was supposed to meet a friend. Again. I was supposed to meet a friend. Excellent. This pattern appears everywhere. I was supposed to call. I was supposed to finish that. I was supposed to leave earlier. Very useful. Now imagine the conversation shifts again. You both leave the cafe and start walking toward the train station. The streets are quieter now. The city lights reflect in the windows of nearby buildings. The evening feels peaceful. Then suddenly, your phone vibrates. A message appears. The hiking trip has been canceled. Listen carefully. The trip has been canceled. Repeat after me. The trip has been canceled. Again. The trip has been canceled. Excellent. Unexpected changes happen all the time. And native speakers often react calmly. You might say, "Oh well." Listen carefully. Oh well. Repeat after me. Oh well. Again. Oh well. Excellent. This tiny phrase is extremely common. It means, "That's unfortunate. But life goes on." Let's practice. Oh well. Maybe next time. Repeat. Maybe next time. Excellent. Now imagine your friend replies, "Yeah. Maybe next time." Listen carefully. Maybe next time. Repeat after me. Maybe next time. Again. Maybe next time. Excellent. Notice how simple the language is. Yet it sounds completely natural. That's because real conversations are built from familiar patterns, not complicated vocabulary. Now let's build a complete conversation together. Listen carefully. Do you have any plans this weekend? Not really. I'm just taking it easy. A few friends and I are going hiking. That sounds fun. Do you want to come? I'd love to. Great. I'll send you the details later. Perfect. Then later. Sorry. The trip got canceled. Oh well. Maybe next time. Yeah. Maybe next time. Now repeat it with me. Imagine the conversation. Imagine the messages. Imagine yourself responding naturally. Do you have any plans this weekend? Not really. I'm just taking it easy. A few friends and I are going hiking. That sounds fun. Do you want to come? I'd love to. Great. I'll send you the details later. Perfect. Sorry. The trip got cancelled. Oh well? Maybe next time. Yeah. Maybe next time. Excellent. Can you feel how much easier these conversations are becoming? You're no longer learning isolated phrases. You're experiencing situations, making plans, accepting invitations, handling changes, responding naturally. That's exactly how English becomes useful. Every small sentence you repeat is training your brain to participate in real conversations. Not memorize. Participate. And something wonderful happens after people make plans together. After they spend time together. After they share experiences. They begin telling stories. Funny stories. Unexpected stories. Stories that start with simple phrases like, "You'll never believe what happened." And those stories create some of the most engaging and memorable conversations in everyday English. That's exactly where we're going next. The walk to the train station feels calm. The city is quieter now. Most offices have closed. Restaurants are full of evening conversations. The streets glow under rows of streetlights. People move at a slower pace than they did this morning. The cancelled hiking trip is no longer a big deal. Plans changed. Life moved on. And that's exactly how many memorable stories begin. Not with something extraordinary, but with something unexpected. Because after people spend time together, after they make plans, after they share experiences, conversations naturally move towards storytelling. People love stories. Not because stories are complicated. Because stories are human. Stories make people laugh. Stories create connection. Stories help us remember. And if you want to sound more natural in English, learning how to tell simple stories is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Imagine you're sitting on the train heading home. A friend sends you a message. You start chatting. The conversation is casual, relaxed. Then your friend asks, "So, how was your day?" Listen carefully. How was your day? Repeat after me. How was your day? Again. How was your day? Excellent. Now here's where many learners miss an opportunity. They answer, "Good. Fine. Busy." And the conversation ends. Native speakers often do something different. They tell a tiny story. Not a long story. Just enough to keep the conversation alive. For example, "It was actually pretty interesting." Listen carefully. "It was actually pretty interesting." Repeat after me. "It was actually pretty interesting." Again. "It was actually pretty interesting." Excellent. Notice how this creates curiosity. Your friend immediately wants to know more. And that's exactly what happens next. They ask, "Oh yeah. What happened?" Listen carefully. "What happened?" Repeat after me. "What happened?" Again. "What happened?" Excellent. Now the story begins. A very common storytelling phrase is, "Well, you'll never believe this." Listen carefully. "You'll never believe this." Repeat after me. "You'll never believe this." Again. "You'll never believe this." Excellent. Native speakers use this phrase constantly. Not because the story is unbelievable. Because it creates curiosity. Let's practice. "You'll never believe this." Excellent. Now imagine your story begins. Maybe you're talking about something that happened earlier in the week. You say, I was walking to work when I saw someone I hadn't seen in years. Listen carefully. I was walking to work when I saw someone I hadn't seen in years. Repeat after me. I was walking to work when I saw someone I hadn't seen in years. Excellent. Notice the pattern. I was walking when. I was driving when. I was shopping when. This is one of the most common storytelling structures in English. Let's practice. I was eating lunch when my phone rang. Repeat. I was eating lunch when my phone rang. Excellent. Now imagine your friend responds. No way. Listen carefully. No way. Repeat after me. No way. Again. No way. Excellent. This phrase appears constantly in spoken English. It shows surprise, interest, excitement. Let's continue. You say, yeah. It turned out to be an old classmate. Listen carefully. It turned out to be. Repeat after me. It turned out to be. Again. It turned out to be. Excellent. This phrase is one of the most useful storytelling tools in English. Let's practice. It turned out to be my neighbor. It turned out to be the wrong address. It turned out to be a great experience. Excellent. Now imagine the story continues. You talk for a while. Catch up. Share updates. Then you say, we ended up talking for almost an hour. Listen carefully. We ended up talking for almost an hour. Repeat after me. We ended up talking for almost an hour. Excellent. There's that phrase again. Ended up. Native speakers love it. Because real life rarely goes according to plan. Let's practice. I ended up staying longer than expected. I ended up buying it. I ended up meeting some interesting people. Excellent. Now imagine your friend is listening, carefully. They smile and say, that's amazing. Listen carefully. That's amazing. Repeat after me. That's amazing. Again. That's amazing. Excellent. Simple reactions like these keep stories moving. And that's an important lesson. Good storytelling isn't only about the storyteller. It's also about the listener. Let's explore a few natural listener reactions. Listen carefully. No way. Really? Seriously? You're kidding. That's crazy. Repeat after me. Really? Seriously? You're kidding. That's crazy. Excellent. These reactions appear everywhere, in everyday conversation. Now let's continue. Imagine your story reaches the ending. You say, honestly, it completely made my day. Listen carefully. It completely made my day. Repeat after me. It completely made my day. Again. It completely made my day. Excellent. This phrase is extremely common. Made my day. Native speakers use it whenever something brings unexpected happiness. A compliment. A kind message. A surprise encounter. Meeting an old friend. Let's practice. That made my day. Repeat. That made my day. Excellent. Now imagine your friend responds. I love stories like that. Listen carefully. I love stories like that. Repeat after me. I love stories like that. Excellent. Now let's explore another kind of story. Not a happy surprise. A funny mistake. Because funny mistakes create some of the most memorable conversations. Imagine you're telling another story. You begin with, okay. This is kind of embarrassing. Listen carefully. This is kind of embarrassing. Repeat after me. This is kind of embarrassing. Again. This is kind of embarrassing. Excellent. The phrase kind of appears again. Native speakers use it constantly to soften statements. Now imagine you continue. I walked into the wrong meeting. Listen carefully. I walked into the wrong meeting. Repeat after me. I walked into the wrong meeting. Excellent. Your friend immediately laughs. Then asks, what happened? You answer, I sat down and didn't realize it for 10 minutes. Listen carefully. I didn't realize it for 10 minutes. Repeat after me. I didn't realize it for 10 minutes. Excellent. Then you say, eventually, I figured it out. Listen carefully. I figured it out. Repeat after me. I figured it out. Again. I figured it out. Excellent. This phrase is extremely useful. Let's practice. I finally figured it out. We figured it out. You'll figure it out. Excellent. Now imagine everyone laughs. Not because the story is dramatic. Because it's relatable. That's another secret of storytelling. People don't remember perfect stories. They remember relatable stories. Stories that sound human. Stories that sound real. Now let's build a complete storytelling conversation together. Listen carefully. How was your day? It was actually pretty interesting. Oh yeah. What happened? Well, you'll never believe this. I was walking to work when I saw someone I hadn't seen in years. No way. Yeah. It turned out to be an old classmate. Really? We ended up talking for almost an hour. That's amazing. Honestly, it completely made my day. Now repeat it with me. Feel the rhythm. Feel the curiosity. Feel the emotional movement. How was your day? It was actually pretty interesting. Oh yeah. What happened? Well, you'll never believe this. I was walking to work when I saw someone I hadn't seen in years. No way. Yeah. It turned out to be an old classmate. Really? We ended up talking for almost an hour. That's amazing. Honestly, it completely made my day. Excellent. Can you feel what happened? You didn't just answer a question. You told a story. You created curiosity. You shared an experience. And that's a huge step toward natural communication. Every small sentence you repeat is training your brain to organize ideas in English. Not just words. Ideas. Events. Experiences. Memories. And when you can tell stories naturally, conversations become much easier. Because stories are everywhere. At work. At dinner. With friends. With family. Even with strangers. But something even more powerful happens after you become comfortable telling stories. Eventually, you stop translating those stories from your native language. You begin thinking about them directly in English. And that's where the next breakthrough begins. The moment when English starts becoming your thoughts instead of your translations. Let's explore that together in the final part. The train continues moving through the city. Outside the window, lights pass by, one after another. Tall buildings glow against the night sky. Restaurants are still busy. People are laughing, talking, living their lives. Inside the train, everything feels quieter, calmer. You lean back in your seat and think about the day. The conversations. The people. The stories. The unexpected moments. And without realizing it, something important begins to happen. You're no longer focused on English. You're simply thinking, this is the moment many learners spend years trying to reach. The moment when English starts feeling less like a subject and more like a tool. A tool for thinking. A tool for understanding. A tool for living. Because ultimately, Fluency is not about knowing every word. It's about being able to think naturally. And that's exactly what we're going to practice now. Imagine you arrive home. You unlock the door. Step inside. Set your bag down. The apartment is quiet. The day is finally over. For a moment, you simply stand there. Then a thought appears. Not a translation. Just a thought. Maybe something simple like, "That was a good day." Listen carefully. "That was a good day." Repeat after me. "That was a good day." Again. "That was a good day." Excellent. Notice how simple that sentence is. Yet, it feels real. Natural. Complete. Many native speakers think in short, simple thoughts throughout the day. Not long paragraphs. Not complicated sentences. Simple thoughts. Now imagine another thought appears. Maybe you're thinking about someone you met earlier. The conversation in the cafe. The stories you shared. The connection you felt. You might think, "I'm glad I went." Listen carefully. "I'm glad I went." Repeat after me. "I'm glad I went." Again. "I'm glad I went." Excellent. This phrase appears constantly in everyday English. After a trip. After an event. After meeting friends. After trying something new. I'm glad I went. Let's practice. I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I asked. I'm glad I came. Excellent. These are real thoughts. The kinds of thoughts people have every day. Now imagine, you're sitting on the couch. Maybe you're drinking tea. Maybe you're scrolling through your phone. Maybe you're simply relaxing. The day begins replaying in your mind. And another thought appears. Things worked out pretty well. Listen carefully. Things worked out pretty well. Repeat after me. Things worked out pretty well. Again. Things worked out pretty well. Excellent. Native speakers use worked out all the time. Let's practice. Everything worked out. It worked out in the end. Things worked out better than expected. Excellent. Now imagine you remember the canceled hiking trip. Earlier, it felt disappointing. But now, after everything else that happened, it doesn't seem so important. You think, "Oh well, maybe next time." Listen carefully. Maybe next time. Repeat after me. Maybe next time. Again. Maybe next time. Excellent. This is something emotionally healthy native speakers do often. They accept small disappointments. They move forward. They don't fight reality. They simply say, "Maybe next time." Now imagine the evening continues. The room becomes quieter. You check tomorrow's schedule. You remember a few things you need to do. A meeting. An errand. A phone call. A responsibility. And naturally, another thought appears. I've got a busy day tomorrow. Listen carefully. I've got a busy day tomorrow. Repeat after me. I've got a busy day tomorrow. Again. I've got a busy day tomorrow. Excellent. Notice how natural that sounds. Not. Tomorrow contains numerous obligations. Nobody thinks like that. Instead, I've got a busy day tomorrow. Simple. Useful. Real. Now imagine you feel a little tired. But not stressed. Just ready to rest. You might think, "I'll deal with it tomorrow." Listen carefully. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Repeat after me. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Again. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Excellent. This phrase appears constantly in everyday English. Sometimes it's practical. Sometimes it's comforting. Sometimes it's exactly what we need to hear. Let's practice. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Excellent. Now imagine you're getting ready for bed. The lights are dim. The apartment is silent. You brush your teeth. Put your phone down. Turn off the last lamp. And as you climb into bed, one final thought appears. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Listen carefully. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Repeat after me. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Again. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Excellent. Can you feel how natural that sounds? Not dramatic. Not complicated. Just a simple thought. And that's exactly the point. Thinking in English isn't about impressive vocabulary. It's about natural thoughts. Now let's fast forward to the next morning. Sunlight slowly fills the room. Your alarm rings. You open your eyes. And before you even realize it, English is there. Not because you're studying. Because you're thinking. Maybe your first thought is, 5 more minutes. Listen carefully. 5 more minutes. Repeat after me. 5 more minutes. Again. 5 more minutes. Excellent. Or perhaps, I'm still tired. Listen carefully. I'm still tired. Repeat after me. I'm still tired. Excellent. Maybe you sit up and stretch. Then think. Okay. Let's do this. Listen carefully. Let's do this. Repeat after me. Let's do this. Again. Let's do this. Excellent. Native speakers say this all the time. Before work. Before exercise. Before challenges. Before important moments. Let's do this. Simple. Motivating. Natural. Now imagine you're making breakfast. Coffee is brewing. The day is beginning. And suddenly, something interesting happens. You notice that your thoughts are arriving in English. Not every thought. Not perfectly. But naturally. A phrase here. A sentence there. A reaction. An observation. A plan. A feeling. And that's exactly how fluency develops. Not all at once. Little by little. Through repetition. Through exposure. Through real situations. Let's practice a few final thoughts together. Listen first. Then repeat. This should be a good day. Repeat. This should be a good day. Again. This should be a good day. Excellent. Next one. I guess we'll see. Repeat. I guess we'll see. Again. I guess we'll see. Excellent. Next. Let's see what happens. Repeat. Let's see what happens. Again. Let's see what happens. Excellent. These are not study sentences. These are life sentences. The kinds of thoughts people actually have. The kinds of thoughts that gradually replace translation. And that's the breakthrough. Not speaking faster. Not using bigger words. Thinking naturally. Now take a moment and think about everything you've practiced today. You started the morning. You had small conversations. You met new people. You talked about your life. You shared your feelings. You made plans. You told stories. And finally, you learned how to think in English. All of those skills work together. Because real English isn't separated into categories. Life doesn't happen in categories. It happens as one continuous experience. A conversation becomes a friendship. A friendship becomes a story. A story becomes a memory. A memory becomes a thought. And English becomes part of all of it. Every small sentence you repeated today trained your brain to respond more naturally. Every conversation helped build confidence. Every story strengthened your understanding. Every thought brought you closer to fluency. And perhaps the most important thing to remember is this. You do not need perfect English. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need perfect pronunciation. You only need to keep showing up. Keep listening. Keep repeating. Keep thinking. Keep speaking. Little by little. Day by day. Conversation by conversation. Because fluency isn't built in a single moment. It's built through hundreds of small moments. Moments exactly like the ones you've practiced today. Before we finish, I want you to do one final exercise. Think about your real life. Your actual day. Not an imaginary one. A real one. Now create one simple English sentence about it. Maybe, I had a productive day. Maybe, I spent time with friends. Maybe, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Maybe, I'm grateful for today. Whatever your sentence is, say it quietly to yourself now. Good. That's your English. Your thoughts. Your voice. And every time you do that, English becomes a little more natural. A little more comfortable. A little more yours. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourself. Keep practicing. Keep moving forward. And I'll see you in the next lesson.